a student want to get into Xiaomi, what kind of criteria he need to put into consideration or in his mind?
Right now in the industry, if you see, there are two types of hiring. There's also another structure added to it that's called program based hiring. And at Xiaomi, we had a wonderful time conducting these events. So it's mainly a case study competition. What they can do is they can participate in the case study competition. So it's a step by step process that happens. I think it's basically the skill based hiring that Xiaomi follows. The student who puts his 100% efforts understanding what is really needed for this case study.
In the terms of compensations, as you know, like many layoffs are going on, and but still the expectations of students are very high. So how they can align with the expectations, or they can align with the industry standards?
Yeah, there's never an end for student expectations. I always recommend students to aim higher. What I suggest is you have to look for your median compensation that is offered in your college, and that's where you can aim to. First thing is, it's very easy for you to convince your parents. But if they say, you know what, hey, he's working for Microsoft, then things easily are relatable. When you work with an MNC, you get a lot of learning.
So how do you see the future of the job market when the students are going with the logos, the brand, the Mang, Fang?
Jobs are there. There are a lot of jobs available, but it's only that students choose. That's where companies and students can connect with each other. I've seen I've seen students rejecting companies over brands. As a role of a product manager, she missed that opportunity for a company where the role is an associate role. So for me, if at all I have a resume, first thing I look for is skill rather than seeing which company is coming from.
For the student who is going to attend a campus recruitment, so what's the one advice we would like to give the both?
If at all I have to say one piece of advice, one advice is trust the company. And definitely they have ruled something for you. Visualize yourself, manifest it, and you'll be there.
Hello everyone and welcome to Talkiepedia. Today let's welcome Mr. Nikhil on this show. A campus recruiter, he closely works with top-tier institutions and emerging talent across India. In his role, Nikhil leads end-to-end campus hiring and recruitment strategy, managing complete hiring cycle across multiple technical, non-technical roles with strong experience in building talent, pipelines and directly engaging in students and colleges. He brings practical insider perspective on salary expectations, career choices, and how students should evaluate opportunities beyond brand name. In today's episode, we'll talk about freshers, salaries, startup versus MNC decisions, student mindset around placements, and modern hiring approaches, and case study based recruitment. So let's get into the show. Welcome, Nikhil. Welcome to Talkiepedia. It's really great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Pleasure is mine.
So, Nikhil, as I have gone through your profile and you have really good experience with campus recruitment and all, and you work with Xiaomi. So, how was your experience in Xiaomi?
To be honest, it was fantastic. I'll tell you the reason. So we have a unique model of hiring at Xiaomi when we talk about any hiring structure, right? So right now in the industry, if you see, there are two types of hiring, which is traditional way of hiring where you go onto the campus, conduct rigorous assessments, and come back. You also have GD discussions, and you select a candidate based on their overall performance, right? There's also another structure added to it that's called program-based hiring, and at Xiaomi we had a wonderful time conducting these events. So it's mainly a case study competition that we used to have, and we do have different types of competition catering to different types of students that we are looking for. Just to give you an example, for B schools we had something called case study competition called Xiaomi Summit. And for e-school we had something called Ode to Code. That's where it's a hackathon. Students participate in our coding challenge that we cater, and if students can crack it, then we have a job for them.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of hiring criteria or model you used to follow when it comes to like E schools and B schools, whether through hackathon or codathon, or as you said, like case study model? So, can you just give an overview of it?
Sure. So I'll first talk about the B School umbrella. That's where Xiaomi Summit is happening. Even this year, Xiaomi Summit 7.0 was also, was also conducted, and it went great. So this is a way where it is open for B school folks, where what they can do is they can participate in the case study competition. And talking about how this is curated, right? So it's a step by step process that happens. So first thing, we have a live launch event where the leaders from Xiaomi talk about it on the launch event, and they explain how the event flow would look like. And it's going to be, it's a massive 40 days program that happens. So there are 3 different rounds where a student can participate in. I mean, the case study that we offer is also a real business case study. I mean, whatever the problems that the team is facing, for example, GTM team or marketing team, or talk about POS, I mean the point of sales, whatever problems that we have, right? So these are curated into business case studies, which is quite real time, and we want the best of the brains to work on it so that they come up with solutions. So, and it is done in 3 phases. So phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, where students will be given case study in each phase once they clear. So it's going to be an elimination round. So once phase 1 is done, they go to phase 2 and then phase 3. Talking about the working models, how this happens is we do the launch event, and then we open the portal for the students to register. I mean, Xiaomi used to do that, and once student registers in that, then the case study. So there would be a quiz round followed by quiz. The case study opens, and then what happens is in the grand finale, once they clear all these 3 rounds, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So grand finale, we used to call them to our office in Bangalore, and we used to conduct the grand finale where they present in front of the CXO, or head of HR. So they present it there, business case study. Even the team from the business, whoever has given that case study, for example, if marketing team has given the case study or supply chain has given a case study, they'll also be there. And then the finalists will all the finalists who are there, the top 16 teams, you call 32 folks, right? 60, so a team size of 2 members, all of them will get a pre-placement opportunity. So they get a PPI. So once the interview is done, right, they get the PPO.
Nikhil, if a student want to get into Xiaomi, what kind of criterias he need to put into consideration or in his mind?
So yeah, like I said, if at all a B school student wants to get into Xiaomi, then what we really look for is skills. I think it's basically the skill-based hiring that Xiaomi follows even now. So what they do is they, this entire case study is curated in such a way that the evaluation in the back end is so strong that the student who puts his 100% efforts, understanding what is really needed for this case study, going into the market, exploring, and doing the rigorous analysis, right? So all these aspects fall into this parameter. So the parameter doesn't just say that, hey, you know what, your academics is so good, so let me hire you. No. We want someone who is utilizing his real skill sets. For example, the approach. What is the approach that they have went into this case study? Second, how did they decode the business case study that we have given? Third, what is the data that he has been presenting? What is it? Real time data? Is it more relevant to what we are currently having it? Fourth is his problem solving skills. So I think these are the parameters that Xiaomi used to follow.
As you have been to campus recruitments, so do you think the students these days, or either B school or E school, have higher expectations than compared to a standard like market value? Have you seen this kind of problems in the market these days?
So expectations in terms of compensation, are you
Yeah,
talking about?
in the terms of compensations, as you know, like many layoffs are going on, and but still the expectations of students are very high. So how they can align with the expectations, or they can align with the industry standards?
Got it. So I'll just answer it in 2 different ways. So one is, yeah, there's never an end for student expectations, and I firmly believe that I always recommend students to aim higher, right? Because you can't just settle yourself for low. So you have to definitely aim for higher, but there are other aspects surrounding to that as well, right? So what happens is usually there are several factors which influence students to come to a point where what, my expectations are so much. The factors like social media,
Yes.
right? or LinkedIn, if all of a sudden someone opens a LinkedIn and then see a success story of a guy cracking 1 CR, 2 CR, 3 CR compensation, right? Basically, my mind goes like, hey, you know what? Why not me? Why am I getting low? Why do I have to settle for less paid? So let me look for 20, 30 lakhs. But the reality is way different, right? So what happens is students will just look for this top 1%, and then that's where they said that, probably they set their expectations on that 1% people. What I suggest is you have to look for your median compensation that is offered in your college, and also the median compensation that any company offers, and that's where you can aim to. So I never say that aiming higher is always a bad thing, but you should also understand what reality is, right? So you can, based on that reality, you can set up your expectations. For example, if a company is coming with, uh, you know 8 lakhs of compensation into your college, you should understand that's the median compensation that a company is offering and your college is also offering. Then you have to aim for that 8 lakhs, right? So that is what I think. And there's a second factor also called peer pressure. Right. So, and as you know, students will face a lot of peer pressure.
Society pressure.
Yes. So, if my aunt's son is getting 40 LPA just because he's in IIT, and I'm in a tier 2 college and I'm just getting 6 LPA for the same job role, right? You definitely feel that pressure. So that's one thing. But yeah, again, what I say is calm down yourself, stay subtle, understand what reality is, and then aim for whatever best that you have. Third thing is there's a gap. I would like to talk about that as well. So companies which are offering this 2 CR, 3 CR compensations, right? These are basically for the top IITs, and also they do not even really think about IITs. For example, Elon Musk. So he says, for me, colleges pedigree is just a piece of paper for me. So he believes in hiring from skill model. So my suggestion or my piece of advice would be that understand what skill set does really this 2 CR or 3 CR guys are getting into. Just to give you an example, the companies which are offering this compensation 2 CR or 3 CR are getting more into quantum researchers. Or basically, these are the companies where what happens is they invest their money into this, they trade their investment into, into this market using predictive modeling, right? So quantum researchers, or they do more of a data work. So they are on a very high scale programming languages. So they use tech stacks like C++, Python, and they get into that market. And that's only 1% of people. Why are you aiming for that 1% of people who are there? That should not be your benchmark, right? Your benchmark should be on paper. What is the reality? What is the companies my college can get into, or bring it on board, and then what best I can do it. That's what you should look for.
Exactly. After Xiaomi, you moved to Turing, right? So, according to you, what is the best way a fresher can choose, like working in an MNC or working in a startup?
Okay, this is quite subjective, but I would like to tell you the perks of both. How is it different for, in terms of each other. So see, the one thing that's for sure is people are looking for brand, right?
Yes.
So whenever see the some fancy logo, or whenever they see the brand logo, that's where students get attracted to, because they have to tell it to. First thing is, it's very easy for you, for you to convince your parents.
Yes.
And your parents also feel very happy about it, right? Uh, there I've been seeing situations where my parents or my friends' parents are not able to pronounce the name of the companies. But if they say, you know what, hey, he's working for Microsoft, then things easily are relatable, right? You can relate it quickly, or your uncle feels like, oh wow, he's working for Microsoft. That's great, right? So that's the first factor that students will look for, brand. Whenever they see a brand logo, right, that's where their heart gets inclined to. But you should, deep down, you should also understand the reality of what role I'm getting into, what is the work that I'm going to get into, what is the learning that I'm going to get into, right? So these are the factors that students need to think. And coming back to your answer, not detouring from where we, coming back to your question, just not to detour, uh, the key factors that I would say is when you work with an MNC, right, you get a lot of learning, and the time that you take to evolve into a leader when you work with the very big MNCs takes a lot of time, and the growth, right? So your visibility is very low. There are a lot of things that keep shadow, right, and masked as well. Right? You can't really see what is happening behind your business unit. Correct.
Yes.
So you'll be only aligned with one business unit, and all you could know is only what that business unit is doing. And you really don't even know when at the entry level you don't even know what is happening with that business unit. Is it really performing really well, or whatever is happening, right? So that's the main setback for if at all you're looking for MNCs. That first thing, slow learning will be continuous, but it will be slow. Growth will be slow, right? But perks, yes, you will have good name or a good brand in your profile. So that's one advantage. Second advantage is that people can relate easily, and you'll also have that feeling that, hey, you know what, I'm working for so and so MNC. But when you talk about startup or a mid-sized companies, things are very different. Here, the learning opportunity or the growing opportunity is much faster compared to an MNC, right? Here, the number of hierarchy, the hierarchy is very less. Uh, I happened to get a chance to work with CHRO.
Hmm.
My skip level manager was CHRO,
Okay.
right? Even though Xiaomi is, you can say it as a global MNC, but when it comes to India, we are just 10 years old,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
So that's the advantage. My skip level manager is a global is a CHRO. So I've been working with him. I have one-on-one with him. That's where I learn a lot of new things, right? So that's the advantage of mid-sized or startups, where the hierarchy is very less, and you get a chance to talk to your CXOs or CEOs, and also understand what their mission and vision about the company is all about. And second thing is that you will be doing a lot of things, not just the work that has been assigned to you. So in a startup or an MNC, you're expected to do more than what you can, and that pushes off your or pushes off your limitations that you have in your mind, and you will go beyond what you can do.
Yeah.
And that's what I really recommend.
Mhm.
So again, catering this, so if someone really wants stability, and if someone really wants that job security, and if someone really wants that, hey, I'm fine with the slow growth, I still want to convince people around me by saying that I'm working with this company, then I suggest them to move to MNCs. And someone who's very hunger to learn and grow, and he's very hungry to learn and grow. He's thinking in such a way that probably within next 5 years down the line, I want to get into a senior manager position or a manager position. Then I'd suggest him to go with an mid-sized companies or startups, where you have a dynamic working environment.
Nikhil, as you mentioned earlier, the students are going with the brand or the logo.
Yes.
So, are there are really no opportunities out there, or what I feel is the students either go with the brand or the latest upcoming startups. So, how do you see the future of the job market when the students are going with the logos, the brand, the Mang, Fang? So, how do you see the future of jobs and job opportunities?
Okay, so here I would like to tell you one thing. Jobs are there. There are a lot of jobs available, but it's only that students choose. So I've seen people choosing over big MNCs over a very good role given in a mid-sized company. And I've also seen people leaving very high, fancy compensations for a company that they already know from generations, right? So that's what I was talking about, the brand logo. So they have left good product leaders or product manager roles just to get a probably an initial stage role or initial role in a big brand that they were looking for. So these are all there in the market. I mean, so students' perspective is like I said, as long as they are working with the global companies and they have very good fancy LinkedIn profiles, they are looking for that. But jobs are always there. There is
There's
never a
always a
problem.
requirement.
Yes.
I feel in the jobs and in the MNCs and startups, we forget about the mid-sized companies. So I feel the colleges or the students are not really looking into the mid-sized companies, they either go with the brand or the high packages that are offered by the startup. So how difficult is it for a mid-sized company to hire a good resource or to do a campus recruitment? So how tough it is?
So I'll tell you, there are two things coming up around. So one thing is from the student's perspective, and second thing is from the company's perspective. So let me talk about company's perspective first. So if I'm a mid-sized company, right, a mid-scale company, and then I should not be only going in the month of December with a pre-placement talk saying that, hey, you know what, we are coming to hire and this is the role. So that should not happen. My suggestion is you should have a lot of interaction with the students.
Okay.
Let your brand penetrate into the market. Let it go into the students' mind that, hey, you know what, I've seen this company doing this event there. Let that register in students' mind, so that you will have more interested students joining you. Right? It should not be like and someone who's not placed uh, till January or February, and then you go and get that student. No, that should not be the point. You should have students who are interested to work in your organization, so that your organization will grow, as well as the students' mindset is already tuned to your company, right? So they will also grow together. So my suggestion is that if any mid-sized companies are planning to do the hiring, they just don't have to go for pre-placement talk and then finish the hiring process. Instead, they should start more of a campus ambassador programs, or more of an hackathons, or they can use different portals like Forge, just an example. That's wonderful platform where students can really connect with, right? So there are other events like Hacker Rank, other competitors like Hacker Rank, Unstop. They can use all these platforms. So these are all wonderful for student to explore. So they can. That's where companies and students can connect with each other. That's
Yes.
what I really suggest. So companies, mid-sized companies, should look upon these opportunities where they can interact with students. And yeah, you know what? I've been to some of the wonderful meets happening around India, and things that I understood is students are looking for more of an engagement-based hiring, or more of an engagement-based companies.
What do you mean by engagement
So
based?
yeah. Uh, Students are bored of the old school assessments that you have. They are more interested in gamified assessments.
Okay.
So that keeps them engaging through how the companies are approaching.
So you are indirectly telling that this assessment, all these things are going off. I think new hiring pattern is starting up. Like,
So learning is there.
yeah.
Evolution is always there, right? I
Mhm.
mean, I believe in that.
Still assessments and this MCQs are still the major source of hiring, or is it changed?
So yeah, I think companies are also evolving on time to time basis, and they are also seeing that, hey, you know what, I think this is quite boring. Let us do something different on campus. I think companies are thinking in this perspective, and then coming with some gamified assessments or engagement activities. There are some companies which only hire through hackathons, right? So they do not come into the campus and do the normal hiring process. They only hire with hackathons because they want students to be familiar with what the company is doing, right? So getting back to the point where we left. So uh, yeah, talking about the companies or companies perspective, right? Any mid-sized company should get into the campus with these kind of perspectives. Like, I need to engage more with the students, so that the students are interested and they already know our company. So see, I'll tell you, when do you feel safe? Usually when you already know that, hey, I know this person,
Yes,
right?
I know this company.
Yes, I know this company. That's where you feel safe.
Hmm.
That is what any student does. So they feel safe, or they feel secured with the company that they have been listening to over the time. All of a sudden, they also have this opinion or a mindset that startups, if at all you're not performing, they'll fire immediately. But big MNCs will not do that. So there's a perception, right? I really want that to be changed. So this is from a perspective of a company where they have to target. And talking about students' perspective, right? Whenever they are looking for these mid-sized companies or small startups, they should also change their mindset that, hey, not every company is going to give you, you know, is not going to fire you as soon as they hire. They are also coming to the campus to hire you for some purpose, right?
Yes.
So you should be very wise to choose what role are they offering. So I want you to get into those aspects. those parameters rather than just thinking which company is that. Oh, is it a new company? I never heard of it. I'll not go for it. I don't want students to think in that perspective. I want you to deep dive and have a, do a research kind of thing. What is this company doing? What tech stacks are they doing, working on? What is the growth path that I can see in this company, or basically what is the role that they are offering me, right? What is the compensation? Again, compensation play is different. Companies, mid-sized companies definitely come up with a higher compensation play.
Do they offer good compensation?
Depends on
Yeah.
the college that they are going to, and usually they offer a little higher than a service based company for sure, because that's the only game that they can come in with, because students anyways they haven't established any relationship with the students for a long time. So if they want students to join, then the compensation game is one thing that mid-sized company would look for. And this can be advantage if a student does a proper or thorough research about, hey, what is the role, and then what is my growth path looking like. There's one more thing that I would like to talk about here in this podcast is that companies should also show a clear career path to the student whenever they are going into this pre-placement talks.
What do you mean by clean career path?
So I'll tell you. So whenever companies are going into pre-placement talk, which most of the companies are following now, which is very good thing. But I suggest or urge more companies to do that. So the career path should be very clearly defined for a student. When I'm visiting a campus, I should have what is it for the student that I'm going to hire for, right? That should be very clearly defined. What I do is I go to the pre-placement talk, I present, and there's a slide that says your career path, which is very important for a student. Students should understand that, and companies should present that. That's what I suggest. So they should go with whenever they are going there, right? They should see that, hey, I'm starting as a trainee, and then where am I going next? After how much? What's the duration that I'm spending as a trainee in this company? Okay, after 2 years I'm going into this, right? After 3 years down the line, which position am I going into? That's how the career path should be very well defined. So you are going to hire a trainee and then promoting him to a executive or a specialist, and then senior specialist and assistant manager and manager. How much time is it taking, right? That thing should be clearly defined. Again, there are a lot of things that factors that affect that as well, right? I mean, I just can't say, hey, you know what, even though if you're not performing within next 2 years, you're going to be senior. There are other factors revolving around it, which you can tell them in the later stage. But for the initial understanding of a student's growth path, companies should come up with this and students should look for this.
So what kind of challenges you see while visiting a campus or going for a campus recruitment from the management side or the college side?
From the management side?
From the college side, yeah.
So I think one thing that I see it as a challenge, which there's also a feedback that has gone through the campus and campuses are improving, is the structured facilities for any student to take an assessment, right?
Okay.
Probably I can just call it as an infrastructure maybe that they can think about. There have been instances where there's a serious challenge or a hackathon or an interview happening and students are running out of internet.
Yes. Okay.
So that's a major challenge. I mean, it's a very bad experience for a student. They might lose job just because of the infrastructure. So I feel that colleges should really work upon the infrastructure they're providing to the students.
According to you, what do you think, how colleges see the mid-sized companies? I feel even colleges do look for big brands or big compensation, but the mid-sized companies.
That's the fact that we need to accept, and everyone has to accept. See, even the placement cell has a role to play here, right? And somewhere I feel that the placement cell influences students in every aspect, right? So I think it's in their hands also to scale this mid-sized companies or project them in a right way into the student's mind. I think placement officer or the training and placement cell has an equal responsibility to project a company in such a way. I know definitely things work on, competitors, things work on, hey, you know what, so and so company has gone into that campus, right? You also want that company to come to your campus because of the brand, right? As a
Yes.
training and placement officer, I would love to flaunt at, hey, you know what, these are the companies that come into my college. But deep down, the reality is different. Not every company has so many headcounts to provide to come into your campus, right? So my point is, you should also encourage mid-sized companies by projecting them in the right way. So here the responsibility of management is to understand what company is coming for,
Okay.
and then help students understand what exactly the company is going to do, right? You should act as a bridge between a company and student. Not exactly as a bridge, because students would also love to interact with the company directly, but you should also have a point of influential aspects where you can influence students that, you know what, this is a wonderful company, and I see that the company is going in this direction. These are the tech stacks that the company is going. Probably it's going to get into the market, or it's going to get into listed. So next 5 years, this is what I understood the company founder when I met them. All these things will also influence a lot in student mindset. Hey, I believe, so it's not that I trust the company. In some cases I trust the placement officer. Hey,
Yes.
if he says, then probably then this is a good company. Let me try. So that's what I believe.
So, any incident you want to share, like when you went for a campus recruitment, and you feel that this need to be shared?
Yeah, I think couple of things. The way that students are using AI, to use it as a mean of clearing the assessments. That's very funny. I mean, I'm seeing people using AI a lot, rather than sitting and coding. They're just making things easier for them, and that's how they're using in the assessments,
Okay.
which is definitely a wrong practice. I would definitely not recommend students doing that, because companies do have some criteria why, there is a purpose why company is coming to you, right? So, and you actually have to solve that purpose rather than solving the problem using AI.
So, you as a recruiter, how do you prevent students to use these tools?
So, see, there are different tools available in the market where they are not, usually it will not allow students to switch the tabs when they are writing any assessment. And there are also tools which, keep you confined to your website, not to use any AI. No third party applications will run in your platform. Only the software that your company is using, only that will work on your laptop. So there are been certain, tools in the market, but I'll tell you, students are way ahead than all these. They are very smart. They know how to use this better. They use virtual platforms, virtual sharings of the screen, and their friends back in the hostel room will write code for him. So I've been
Proxy.
many incidences like that.
Okay. So, have you ever seen a student rejecting a good package just because of brand logo, because it was not that branded, like it was not such a big company, it was just a mid-sized company?
Yes, I've seen people, I've seen students rejecting companies over brands. Uh, Again, like I said, there's an example where a student has missed an opportunity to as a role of a product manager, right? She missed that opportunity for a company where the role is associate role, and the brand is bigger, and
Okay.
she chose associate role in a bigger brand rather than a product manager role in a mid-size startup.
Where do you see the mindset of the students when they're going with the brand logos? So, how do you see the future of the students, the Gen Zs or the coming Gens?
See, one thing is for sure that bigger brands have a better brand value, but ultimately, when as a recruiter, if I'm going into the campus or if I have to hire someone, I'm going to see skills first. I love to hire on a skill based rather than brand based. Till a certain point, yeah, your brand speaks a lot, but after a certain point, your skills matter a lot.
Matter.
So for me, if at all I have a resume, first thing I'll look for is skill, rather than seeing which company is coming from, right? So even in my recent time, probably a hiring which I've done a month ago, that's where I understood that why am I looking at the skill rather than which company is he coming from. And that's where I felt that skill for me is most important thing right now rather than brand that is coming from. Right. And also when you speak to the candidates, right, so just an example, when you speak to students or when you speak to the candidates who are coming from mid-size companies or startups, they know a lot, they have done a lot, they have been here and there, right. Just an example I would like to state myself, I have been in a company where it's a mid-sized company and it's a very well-known brand, but talking about the work, yes, we are still evolving, we are still learning, and the kind of work exposure that I'm into is amazing. I know a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Right. So that's what that keeps you so confident that whenever you are attending any other interview, you feel so confident about yourself that hey, you know what, if this guy touches upon this kind of questions, I have an answer to tell. That's what I firmly believe that students should understand that what kind of skill set that I'm going to get into rather than brand. And
So after talking to you, Nikhil, can you tell me like can a student have a good career growth when he's from mid-sized company?
uh, definitely yes.
Can you share any instance that a person came from a mid-sized company and made a good in his career or in her career?
Sure. So I would like to not name this person, but not the company as well. But he really, so he joined as a process associate in a mid-sized company. Thing is that he got a chance to explore with the leaders, global leaders, and he was directly working with the CXOs and CFOs. And that's where he learned and he understood what is the length and breadth of the project that he is working on, and what are the skills that he can absorb and he can learn as well, right. So see, there are certain things to unlearn before you learn.
Yes.
Right. That's what I firmly believe in. So before you learn something, you have to unlearn as well. You might have a different approach, but you should not come with the same mindset that hey, you know what, this is what I learned, probably this will work here. No, there are certain things that will not really work on.
Yes.
So this guy learned, so he did a lot of unlearning to learn new things. And what happened is he was working on projects on a large scale. The length and breadth of the projects that he was handling was amazing. And probably he was 1 or 2 years younger to me. And the kind of work that he handled by himself was something which was really appreciated. And then the CXO has called him to US. So he moved to US in the same project. He moved to US on a much bigger position than he was. And now if you see his growth, it's 5x more than what his friend who has joined a MNC is currently doing at.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So there are a lot of other examples as well, and you see people, like I said, it depends on what skill set they are working, what they are learning. That's more important, and how they can ease up the work.
What's the one advice would you like to give to the colleges when you're visiting for a campus recruitment, and one advice for the student who is going to attend a campus recruitment? So, what's the one advice you would like to give the both?
If at all I have to say one piece of advice, one advice is trust the company.
Okay.
So whichever company is coming to you, trust it. And definitely they have ruled something for you. And companies are also, see, I'll tell you, um, I personally would like to give a best experience for a student whoever is joining my company, and companies are moving towards this. So they are not just worried about, or they're not just caring about numbers is the last thing that the companies are now looking for. They are looking for employee experience, candidate experience, a learning path. Just to give you one good question that you brought into this, I really appreciate it. So there is an aspect that is going on in the back end, right? For every company, whichever positions that I come up with, my business unit should justify the role before I take it into my head count. So you just can't throw that, hey, you know what, you go into the campus and get 20. No, I'm not going to take it. I want to know where are you going to put these 20 people in? What kind of work are you going to give them? Right. It's very important. As a student, I don't want to join a company and do nothing. I want to learn. It's my early phase of career where my mind is very much open to learning rather than sitting idle. Right. So for me, business units have to justify that, hey, you know what, we would like to have a fresher for this role. He will be growing into this in next 2 years, and he will be able to handle so much length and breadth of the project. I want that to be very clearly defined before I go into the campus, and every company does that.
Okay.
So my piece of advice is trust the company that is going to come into your college, and do a research. Whenever you see a company, just don't go apply and sit in the interview process, chit chat with your friends, and then finish up the interview. If at all things work out, you're lucky. If things are not working, you're not lucky. I don't want you to do this. Research about the company. Where is it going? What is it doing? Okay, which company is it associated with? What's the parent company? What is it to offer? Do they have GCC in India? Where is it? Uh, do they have it in Hyderabad? Wow, that's wonderful thing. Can I visit the office? Visit if at all you have a chance. If some people are coming to your college, ask the placement. Ask the campus recruiters. Can we visit your office just to see or have a feel about? Go believe yourself that you're in that, you fit into that organization. Visualize yourself, manifest it, and you'll be there.
It's a really great advice, Nikhil.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dhananjay,
you.
and it was lovely podcast. I would love to have more and more of
Yeah,
doing
sure.
it.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.